Do you
How?
believe in something? Listen, does believing a proposition make it true or false?
Not necessarily. Not in all cases, no.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you is this. In order to affirm or deny anything, okay, you're going to have to use veridical identity statements. But if those identity statements are contingent, they cannot explain themselves. So you're going to need further background information, okay? Predication,
Whoa, whoa,
the
whoa. If you and I both presuppose logic, why do we need any identity
logic,
statement to?
logic, logic will be meaningless unless it is a reflection of the ontological realm.
Right. So implicit in presupposing logic is presupposing an
You're not. You keep
ontological
on.
realm.
You keep on. You keep
What
on like a
what
broken record, going back to the same thing again. All you're simply doing now is you are dodging, 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 like the last conversation. Now, in order to negate something ontologically, you're going to need to have a concrete identity statement, which is the negative of the thing that you are denying. Do you understand that before I move on?
No, I don't.
Okay, do you know how many times I've explained this to you?
It just doesn't make any sense.
I explained this to you the last conversation. Yeah. Negation is only the principle of non-contradiction is dependent upon the principle of identity. Are we clear?
Yes.
Good. So you can't negate anything without relying on an identity statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you use an identity statement to negate something, if the identity statement itself is contingent, you're going to have to explain ultimately and finally what non-contingent, non-arbitrary background information provides for the contingent identity statement, without
I
which
I
you won't be able to negate anything.
I just presuppose logic, which
Yeah, you know what?
presupposes identity.
This is what you did last time, and you're doing it again. We keep on repeating, I presuppose logic is not addressing what I'm presenting to you. You are purposely trying to sidestep it. If you say you presuppose it, all you're just simply telling me is, I believe something.
Yeah.
Okay? You believing something doesn't negate anything, because your belief has to be veridical. If your belief is not veridical, then your belief doesn't falsify anything.
So you're saying that my belief in logic needs to be justified? It can't be
Yeah,
presupposed?
your logic as an abstract representation of the ontological realm, you have to ground the basis of the ontological realm. Otherwise, the abstract representation of logic, the abstract representation of the ontological realm doesn't mean anything.
But it presupposes the ontological realm.
Okay, let me put it this way. Can you see something in a mirror if there's no light reflecting off of it?
No.
Okay. So in order to use abstract principles of logic, those abstract principles have to be reflective of the ontological realm, because logic is
Right.
correct thinking about what? The ontological realm. You can't keep going back, I presuppose, because the point is
But
this, is everybody presupposes something. A mere presupposition in and of itself without a metaphysical defense doesn't establish anything.
but doesn't a metaphysical defense presuppose logic?
That's besides the point. The point is this.
It all comes back to logic.
Okay, you're not. You know what? I've come to the conclusion right now is that you're just pedaling your wheels and you're not going anywhere. You're purposely trying to avoid the elephant in the room. You need an ultimate identity statement. You've already agreed that you need an identity. Okay, listen. I'm just going to wrap this up. Do you need a concrete identity statement in order to negate something?
Yes.
Okay, what's your ultimate identity statement to provide for contingent identity statements?
That the universe exists.
Okay, is the universe a statement of ultimacy and absoluteness?
Well, I never agreed that that was required.
Is the
All I agreed
universe
was
a
that I needed a
statement?
concrete identity statement.
Is the
You didn't
universe
say anything about ultimacy.
is the universe your ultimate identity statement that is absolute and non-contingent?
I don't know if it's non-contingent. That wasn't in the question.
Then you don't have an ultimate concrete identity statement in order to provide for contingency identity statements, do you?
I mean, maybe not maybe by your definition.
No,
I just
so you
still
don't-
you still
okay,
haven't
so
just
in order
demonstrated to me
to-
why that's
okay,
a problem.
I'm going to simplify
You
this
haven't
for
demonstrated to me
In
that I
order
need
to
that.
negate something in your metaphysic, in order to negate anything in your background information, in your model of reality, in order to negate anything, it's going to have to depend on the ultimate background information. Without accounting for the ultimate background information, you cannot negate something in actuality. You can verbalize it, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about successfully negating it. Can you negate something in actuality other than verbalizing it without ultimate background information?
By presupposing logic and that
Okay,
the ontological world
we're
exists.
done. You're responding to me like a teenager, and there's no point. You keep on saying this. We're talking about ontological states, not your mental states. Do you have an ultimate ontological framework that dictates all contingent states?
You haven't demonstrated to me that I thank you for the gift.
All right.
For that.
At
You haven't
this point,
demonstrated
the
anything that I
conversation is
need.
pointless at this point because you're bound to determine you're doing the same thing you did last time. You keep on dodging.
Listen,
And so
Listen,
it's pointless
you
talking
said
any further.
yeah. I'm curious because you said you believe in the God of the Bible,
Yeah.
and I did give you some passages the last time we talked.
Yeah.
It seemed to be contradictory. Now, on my worldview, you may very well be right that I can't.
No, there is no right or wrong in your worldview.
I
because you
can't
don't have
self-demonstrate.
background information for right and wrong in your worldview. In your worldview, there's no foundation for right and
Now,
wrong.
if it is
Is there an
true,
ultimate foundation for right and wrong in your worldview?
I presuppose logic. And
No, I
that
didn't
would-
ask you. I didn't
that
ask
would
you what you believe.
presuppose-
I'm asking you what is your ultimate ontological framework?
I'm curious. I'm curious
All
about
right,
the Bible
you know what?
because
I'm
on
not
my
gonna-
worldview,
I'm not going to keep doing this.
you don't want to read the Bible.
No, we're done.
What do you
because
have
what
against
you're
the
doing
Bible?
What you are doing is you are basically ignoring all my questions.
I like the Bible.
And you keep on going. I presuppose.
I learned Hebrew.
Have a nice.
I learned
have a
Greek,
nice day. No,
so I
you're
could read the Bible
dishonest.
because I
You
like
know?
the Bible
You know
way
what?
more than
you are
do.
dishonest. You are.
I like reading the Bible. You want to read the
you
Bible
are
with me?
dishonest. You are
You don't wanna
dishonest
read the
at this
Bible.
point. You are dishonest. Okay, you are
I'm not.
avoiding my germane questions because you have no answer.
We talked about your questions. You haven't
keep on
convinced me.
filibustering. I'm
You
going to
haven't
sign off
convinced
now.
me.
I'm going to
Okay.
sign off right now. Is because you
I can read the Bible without you.
At this point,
I know it
you
better
are
than
just
you
simply
anyways.
being irrational. You are being absolutely
yeah.
irrational at this point.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
when I
That's
read
what
the
atheists
after you
do.
log off and I read the Bible, we'll see
Yeah.
who's irrational.
You see, in your worldview,
We'll see whose
you
worldview
don't
is
have-
irrational.
Do you have ultimate background
Your
information to
worldview
predicate?
affirms
Okay,
P
all right,
and
have
not
a nice
P.
day. You're done. You're completely irrational at this point.
I know. I know.
Yeah. Your worldview doesn't have background
still here.
information for predication. Simple question before I go: do you have ultimate ontological background information in order to predicate?
2 Kings 23:29.
Bye. Yeah.
In his days, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates, and King Josiah went against him, and he slew him at Megiddo when he had seen him. So, King Josiah was slain at Megiddo, according to 2 Kings 23:29. Let's call King Josiah being unalived at Megiddo. We'll call that P. Now we can call not P King Josiah being unalived somewhere other than Megiddo. Let's look at 2 Kings 35:23. And the archers shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, "Have me away, for I am sore wounded." His servants therefore took him out of that chariot and put him in the second chariot that he had, and they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died. So died in Jerusalem, not in Megiddo. So the Bible clearly affirms P and not P. So in my worldview, let's give it to Darth. I can't justify logical statements. Darth's worldview affirms illogical statements. Darth cannot accept the law of the excluded middle if he accepts that the Bible is true. So if we are going to accept transcendental truths like logic, we're going to be able to presuppose logic, we must necessarily reject the Bible and the God of the Bible, which is what I do, and it's why I do it.